Hello and welcome. You're watching the Newstrack. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Who will win the big battle of Himachal Pradesh? Will the BJP be able to reverse electoral history in this hill state, or will the Congress stage a comeback? That's my big focus on the Newstrack tonight.
Tantalizing fight in the mountains.
श्रीमती प्रियंका गांधी माता की।
State of war Himachal heats up. BJP in top gear for saffron sweep.
हिमाचल प्रदेश अग्रिम पंक्ति का रोल मॉडल बन सकता है।
But Congress sniffs big parivartan.
दिन दिन अवश्य वस्तुओं की कीमतें बढ़ रही हैं, उधर वो देख रहे हैं।
Himachal battle has now escalated. From sure shot to unpredictable. Who'll win the war for Himachal?
Today was the penultimate day of campaigning for the big election in the state of Himachal Pradesh. It started out with the BJP in the front, seeming poised for a comfortable victory. It now seems that this is a battle that's going down to the wire. Like a lot of the T20 matches is decided in the last few overs, the Himachal Pradesh battle too now is about what happens over the next 48 hours.
It's a fight to the finish in Himachal Pradesh. 48 hours before the votes are cast in the hill state, Prime Minister Modi was on a campaign blitzkrieg. His first stop was Kangra, where the Prime Minister opened a new front against the Congress, declaring that it will be wiped out of the state.
गिन गिन करके दो ही सरकारें बची है, एक है राजस्थान में और छत्तीसगढ़ में, और वहां से खबरें कभी विकास की आती है नहीं आती है। कांग्रेस का आधार आज भी परिवारवाद ही है। ऐसी कांग्रेस पार्टी हिमाचल के लोगों की अपेक्षाओं को, आकांक्षाओं को कभी पूरा नहीं कर सकती। लोगों का कांग्रेस के प्रति गुस्सा कितना है, एक बार सरकार से गई तो फिर उसका वापस लौटना ही मुश्किल होता है।
Dressed in traditional Himachali attire, the Prime Minister's next stop was Hamirpur, where he targeted the Congress on dynasty and corruption.
जो क्षेत्र कभी कांग्रेस का गढ़ माने जाते थे, वहां से कांग्रेस का पूरी तरह से सफाया हो गया है। मौज करो, 5 साल तुम करो, फिर मैं 5 साल के बाद आ जाऊंगा, यही फॉर्मूला लेकर के चले। और इसलिए कांग्रेस के नेता हिमाचल के लोगों की कोई परवाह नहीं करते। ये विकास सबके सामने प्रत्यक्ष है, लेकिन हिमाचल के लोगों को एक बात हमेशा याद रखनी है, कांग्रेस को विकास के कार्यों से दुश्मनी है।
While the Prime Minister and the BJP are pitching double-engine ki sarkar, the Congress, smelling a chance, is pumping up its campaign too. Newly elected Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge addressed his first public meeting in Himachal Pradesh, where he trained guns on the BJP, accusing it of fooling the people.
ये जुमले नहीं है, जैसा कि मोदी साहब ने जुमला किया, हर एक के जेब में 15-15 लाख रुपए डालूंगा। क्यों झूठ बोलते हैं लोगों को? क्यों दिशा भूल करते हो? सच बोलो, सच बोल के वोट लो, काम करके वोट लो।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी लूटने का काम करती है। पेट्रोल का भाव बढ़ा के पैसा खींच रहे हैं, डीजल का भाव बढ़ा के पैसा खींच रहे हैं, रसोई गैस की कीमत बढ़ा के पैसा खींच रहे हैं, तेल का खाने के तेल की कीमत बढ़ा के पैसा खींच रहे हैं। किसानों से रासायनिक खाद की कीमत बढ़ा के पैसा खींचने का काम उनका है।
As both the BJP and Congress go all out to woo the voters, the rebel factor is also at play. According to reports, the BJP is facing a challenge from rebels in about 20 constituencies and the Congress in close to a dozen.
The Himachal elections mark the beginning of a crowded poll calendar that will culminate in the 2024 general elections. The hill state has mostly been a two-party state since its formation in 1971, with a tradition of alternate governments. Now, will the BJP be able to buck the trend like it did in Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh and Manipur? We will know by the 8th of December. With video journalist Abhishek, this is Mosmi Singh in Shimla for India Today.
Not since 1985 has any party been able to get re-elected in Himachal Pradesh. So, electoral history suggests the Congress has a chance. But the same was the case in neighboring Uttarakhand, where the reversal pattern continued for decades and the BJP reversed it, with Pushkar Dhami winning again. So what's likely to happen in Himachal Pradesh? Joining us on this broadcast, representing the BJP, its spokesperson Shazia Ilmi. From the Congress, we have Aishwarya Mahadev. For perspective on what the mood amongst the voters seems to be, we've got Yashwant Deshmukh from Sea Voter. They've been doing regular tracking polls to try and gauge the pulse of the voters in the state and to give us an academic framework on this big election is Dr. Sanjay Kumar from CSDS Lokniti. Last but not least, I have political analyst Vipin Pabi. I want to start by Yashwant Deshmukh, who's just put out a new tracker with some details about how Himachal Pradesh seems inclined to vote just ahead of the end of campaigning. What's it looking like for you, Yashwant? What are your pollsters on the ground, your surveyors on the ground telling you?
Well, Rahul, our tracker had started almost like 6 months back, and BJP was looking very pretty at that point of time, largely because of also, due to the upswing of Aam Aadmi Party in Himachal. At one point of time, they were getting a traction of almost about 10%, and the split of the opposition vote was working in favor of the BJP. But our latest tracker for the AAP is now, they are very clearly, numbers are showing that Aam Aadmi Party has kind of left the Himachal Pradesh campaign altogether, it seems, because their numbers are now down to roughly about 2.5–3% kind of range. And that has actually worked in favor of Congress, because now Congress is back in action big time, and it seems like a very close fight at the moment, even though BJP seems to having a slight edge. However, having said that, it must be, I must say that on the leadership questions, Rahul, it seems that Congress is facing a huge problem after the death of Raja Veerwal Singh, because, on the popularity ratings of the candidates of potential chief ministership, the best candidate that is coming to on their side is roughly about 20% with Pratibha Singh Ji, but beyond that, there are no, with the various smaller names and smaller chunks. But the overall numbers that the Congress candidates pull up is roughly about 35%, while the overall number of the BJP leaders, the local leaders that they pull up as the chief candidate, is 50% plus. So this is a very, very classical election.
No, that's on the issue of leadership. Let's come to the battle, because I traveled through Himachal Pradesh last week, and the sense that I got is it's not a cakewalk for the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Congress has a machine on the ground, unlike in many other states, and they are fighting a close battle. So it's not going to be one-way traffic for the BJP. When you're saying it will be a close fight, you seem to think that it's a close fight with the BJP with its neck in front, or do you think it's a close fight where the Congress also has the potential of being able to stage an upset?
It is always open. When I say close fight, there is hardly a 1-point gap at this point of time. BJP has 45%, Congress at 44%, and that is like a neck and neck, even within the margin of errors and everything counted off. So I would say, as the point we are speaking today, the game is open. And also, Rahul, please remember that one question that we asked about, do you wish to change the government? Are you upset with the government? Almost 48% are saying that they wish to change the government, but there are 52% who are saying that, even if they are angry, they don't wish to change the government kind of sort. But yeah, but overall speaking, it seems that the contest has gone really close at this
Okay,
point.
so let me give a cricketing analogy because we are in the middle of a World Cup season. Sanjay Kumar, this is now the final overs of a T20 final between the BJP and the Congress. So far, both the teams are playing really close together, and the Congress also has a chance, which even BJP leaders in the centre and state accept. It's a tough fight. Now, two things can happen. The Congress could potentially edge in front, or the Congress could do a Bangladesh, where against India it looked like Bangladesh was going to win, but they found a way of imploding. Bangladesh was winning, India found a way of winning. So could BJP be India, find a way of winning even though the pitch in Shimla is very hostile to them at this moment?
Sorry. Rahul, I don't know whether BJP and Congress are playing on the same pitch. I think BJP and Congress are playing on two different pitches. Congress want to contest the election on the local issues, while BJP is trying to contest the election on the national issues. Very difficult to figure out which team is going to bat better on their own pitch which they have chosen. Where are the umpires going to stand? The point I am trying to say is that both the parties are working very hard. They are trying to put up a good show. It is turning out to be a keen contest. But anticipating that you are going to ask this question, Rahul, my own sense is that even in this keen contest, my own sense is that BJP has a little edge over the Congress.
Because BJP has Kohli. Remember that match against Pakistan, where it seemed like Pakistan was winning and Pakistan was well and truly in front. There was Kohli standing at the end, and he found some way of taking the Indian team across the finishing line. So can Modi do a Kohli for the BJP? That's the question, Yashwant. And that important question that Sanjay Kumar asks, is this election being fought on a pitch of local issues or national issues?
Well, the pitch is definitely for the local issues, but even on the local issues, the biggest solution provider as far as the Himachal public seems to be the Prime Minister Modi. So yes, it is the final over of the T20. It totally depends that eventually it is the only one batsman where the BJP, BJP scores really big time, and that would be the image and the popularity of the Prime Minister. We have seen that happening. Similar kind of situation in Uttarakhand, exactly where we are standing right now. But eventually that was the last one over, and that one batsman in the form of Mr. Modi, which we call it Suryakumar Yadav or Dhoni or Kohli, whatever you want to say. But eventually it is going to be just one.
So Aishwarya Mahadev is rolling her eyes. She's seeing too many cricketing metaphors being mixed up over here, which is fine. We're in the middle of World Cup season, so please bear with us. But the problem there, Shazia, from the BJP's perspective, is you are too dependent on Kohli. Now, Modi could do a Kohli in Himachal, take you across the finishing line in an election where your local candidates, your government, your ministers and chief minister aren't very popular. You should typically lose, but Modi could do a Kohli and you could end up winning. The problem with this formula is, the moment Kohli goes out of form for some reason or the other, the BJP then doesn't know how to win. In a state like Himachal Pradesh or in a state like Uttarakhand. In Uttarakhand, he took you to power single-handedly, and it could well come down to the same in Himachal Pradesh as well.
Well, I beg to differ, Rahul. If you look at the facts today, and if you look at the administration of Himachal and whatever the targets were for this double-engine government, I don't think the pitch is at all hostile for the BJP. I think it's very hospitable, in fact, only because the work and the worth of the current regime in dispensation, that of the BJP party, would not allow for any incumbency or anti-incumbency mood to prevail, only because of the outreach. If you look at the over 16 lakh connections of the tap connections, or the huge outreach with HimCare and Ayush Yojana, you will realize that people for the first time will go for a record in Himachal, and it would be a very decisive victory. Now, if you were to study, and I do know Himachal a little bit, I studied there, so whether it's Kangra or Mandi or Shimla or Hamirpur, you will realize that the beneficiaries, again, we keep coming back to this magic word, which is Labharti. And there's no magic, because there's a lot of work that goes into this magic, which is the Labharti beneficiaries getting benefits of the various schemes. And because the overall standard of living is so much better, and there are such better connections and reach of the government and access, that it's going to be a very easy win for BJP.
Okay,
and
now,
yes, a
now
new
here's the
record
thing,
in Himachal
Aishwarya
Pradesh.
Mahadev, it's really down to your ability to take the team or the party across the finishing line. The Congress has set up this election quietly but most certainly. The question is, do they have the ability to land that knockout punch? Because you've got, remember, Kohli standing and batting for the BJP on the other side.
Good evening, Rahul. I think first and foremost, I'm as much a cricket fan as anybody else, so keep the analogies coming, though comparisons of Kohli to certain somebody here may not be something I agree with. But let's come down to what I think is the essence of this election. It is issues versus image, and which is largely what people have been talking about how one person is going to lead you to a victory, and that is what the BJP hopes for, because contrary to what Ms. Ilmi spoke about, I necessarily believe that the local issues on the ground are far more pressing than what is being put out. And before I answer that with statistics, very simply, I think the Congress has set itself up very strongly. The leadership has been working collectively. There has been lots of monitoring. Today, our AICC President, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, has further enthused the cadre. And I think the Congress in this is not going to, to disagree with your cricket analogy again, is not going to pull out a Bangladesh, as you said, Rahul. And I think let's come down to the issues today. You cannot keep talking about a double-engine sarkar and hoping the centre and the people in power there will push you through when your statistics as a government in the state have been absolutely abysmal. Whether it is law and order, whether it is agriculture, whether it is health or even the education sector, I can tell you piece by piece how Himachal Pradesh has performed worse than ever before. And looking at the manifesto of the BJP, Rahul, it is actually quite funny seeing the things that they're promising. For example, 12% removal of GST on Apple packaging, which they could have done already, and it should not be a manifesto promise. There is a larger idea about how pay remuneration will be equalized, and for over 3 lakh government employees, if the government could not ensure that in their 5 years of Vikas, what are they even talking about? Today, people in Himachal Pradesh are begging for change. Whether it is crimes against women, crimes against Dalits which are on a rise, whether it is apple farmers suffering, whether it's the monkey menace in over 70% of your panchayats, or whether the fact that there's no compensation for flash floods. And you're looking at education metrics. The BJP now promises 5 medical colleges, while their own medical students and their doctors are on strike.
So I want to walk across to the election intelligence dashboard and give you a sense of what Himachal Pradesh looks like before the first vote has been cast. So we'll just give you a sense of how the decks are set at this moment, just ahead of the last day of polling, the last day of campaigning. So in Himachal Pradesh, I'll give you a sense of how close the battle has been in the past. Remember, the BJP won quite comfortably in the last election. What you just heard from Yashwant Deshmukh is he thinks the Congress could increase its tally. They ended at 21 seats the last time. The BJP had 44. He's suggesting that at least as far as votes are concerned, the battle would be tighter. So I'll show you where things stand at this moment, and you'll get a sense of how things could move from there. This is vote share on your screen coming up right now. 49% for the BJP, 42% for the Congress. So a 7% gap. So Yashwant Deshmukh, what you're saying is you're seeing the BJP vote share come down, you're seeing the Congress vote share go up. What percentage of extra votes will the Congress need to pull away to be confident that they'll be able to cross the finishing line? Yashwant.
Well, Rahul, it's, on the vote share side, it looks like almost neck and neck. But please remember, this is all a story of relative turnout on the day of the polling. Because, yes, the intent in the trackers and the opinion polls, they are always there in terms of having an anti-incumbency sentiment as well. These things are pretty much visible in Uttarakhand as well. There was an anti-incumbency sentiment. The BJP had to change 3 chief ministers. There was so much incumbency, Rahul, that BJP, the people of Uttarakhand even defeated the sitting BJP chief minister at that point of time. So, having said that, eventually the final numbers were in favor of the BJP, despite of the fact that the Congress leaders' ratings were way higher on the local level. But same, I don't know how much Congress has learned the lessons from Uttarakhand, how much that would be implemented over here. But what I can see simply right now is that the numbers on the trackers are showing a very, very close fight at the moment. There is a momentum for change. It is totally up to the Congress if they can make full use of that sentiment or not. And it is totally for the BJP to use their ultimate trump card and, swing the match in their favor, regardless of the fact that the rest of the team at Himachal Pradesh unit has played really pathetic.
I want to show you the region-wise breakup of Himachal Pradesh. Now there, what you need to look out for, and I want to go across to Vipin Pabi, that the elections of Himachal have typically been an upper Himachal versus lower Himachal election. You had Veerbhadra Singh, formidable in the upper Himachal area, and you had Prem Kumar Dhumal in the lower Himachal belt, who was strong. Remember, in this election, Prem Kumar Dhumal, who is Anurag Thakur's father, hasn't been given a ticket because he's 77 years old, and he is sitting at home, he's not campaigning. And he's very powerful, he's got a very strong support system. Most of his people, even though they won't say it on camera, are sulking. And Vipin Pabi, could those kind of factors make a difference? This is Kangra on your screen right now. In Kangra, the BJP 18, the Congress 6 in the last elections. In Mandi, the BJP had 18, the Congress had 5, and in Shimla, the BJP had 8, the Congress 10. The Congress typically stronger in this region. So, Vipin Pabi, do you think the fact that they've got rebels, dissidents, that Prem Kumar Dhumal isn't fully active, could all of this hurt the BJP on polling day?
Well, Rahul, this is the first election in about 20 years where the two main stalwarts of Himachal Pradesh are not there. Mr. Veerbhadra Singh died last year, and Prem Kumar Dhumal is not contesting. Also, he had lost the previous election. So this election is wide open, and as has been rightly pointed out, that the vote share difference is not much. Even in the previous elections in 2017, there was a difference of just about 7%. Although the number of seats which the BJP won was 44 and the Congress 21. But it was a close fight even then, and it is going to be much, much closer, or maybe, this could spring a lot of surprises, because BJP appeared to be winning it, very comfortably till a few months ago. But then there was this googly, in the cricket analogy, the googly thrown by the Congress, and that is the old pension scheme. Now, that is something which touches almost every Himachali. In Himachal, there are two things. One is government employees. Almost every family has one or two members of that family are government employees. And number two are the army personnel. The Himachal Pradesh had been disproportionately, contributing to our national pool of soldiers. And this Agniveer scheme which has come up hasn't also been appreciated much in Himachal. So these are the two major factors that are going to play a major role, and therefore the configuration has almost changed over the last 2-3 months. And what we hear is that, in several areas, and particularly as you were saying, in the lower areas, Congress has made a lot of strides, and a lot of their leaders are, likely to win by a comfortable margin.
Okay. Remember that old pension scheme versus new pension scheme is indeed a big factor. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra promising a return to the old pension scheme, the government under pressure for insisting with the new pension scheme. I know that the local leaders of the BJP in Himachal would rather return to the old pension scheme, but they don't because of the approach taken by the central leadership. I want to show our viewers some excerpts from a conversation I had with BJP President Jai Prakash Nadda. Now, he comes from Bilaspur in Himachal Pradesh. He's seen some dissidents in his own home district, so it's a battle of prestige. I mean, for the BJP president, any battle is a battle of prestige, but this particularly so because this happens to be a battle being fought in his home state, the first time since he became the BJP president.
आप हिमाचल से आते हैं, यहाँ पे आपने अपनी राजनीति की शुरुआत की, और हर नेता का, हर शख्स का अपने होम स्टेट से एक्स्ट्रा लगाव होता है. क्या आप मानेंगे कि आपके लिए एक्स्ट्रा प्रतिष्ठा का सवाल है ये? वैसे तो आपको बंगाल में भी जिताना है, आसाम में भी जिताना है, लेकिन अपने स्टेट में अच्छे से जीत के आए जब आप पार्टी के अध्यक्ष हैं, वो ज्यादा जरूरी है.
आपने पहले भी मेरे से पूछा था, मैं हर इलेक्शन को प्रतिष्ठा के साथ ही जोड़ के लड़ता हूं. इसलिए यह भी इलेक्शन मैं उसी तरीके से लड़ रहा हूं। उत्तर प्रदेश के चुनाव हुआ, मणिपुर का हुआ, जो भी हुआ, आसाम का हुआ, पुडुचेरी का हुआ, केरल में जहां कुछ भी नहीं था वहां भी हमने ढंग से चुनाव लड़ा है। तो इसलिए हम प्रतिष्ठा मान करके ही चलते हैं। यहां से लगाव है इसलिए, और ये लगाव मेरा ही नहीं है, मेरे प्रति लोगों का भी है, तो लोग भी इसका जवाब मुझे लगता है पॉजिटिव टर्म्स में देंगे।
पर क्या कभी आपको लगता है कि अगर हिमाचल के सीएम बन जाए तो वही बेहतर है? मतलब पूरे राज्य सरकार की हुकूमत होगी, आप शासन कर पाएंगे, अपना एक विजन छोड़ पाएंगे अपने स्टेट?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। देखिए, मैं
सच बताइएगा, मन ही मन तो लगता
राहुल जी, आपने मेरे कंडक्ट को देखा होगा। मैं कभी भी अपने बारे में न सोचता हूं न बोलता हूं, और ऑन रिकॉर्ड है ये कि मैं यहां कंफर्टेबली सरकार में था। मैं एनवायरमेंट मिनिस्टर रहा, मैं फॉरेस्ट मिनिस्टर रहा, मैं हेल्थ मिनिस्टर रहा, मैं पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर रहा, मैं लॉ मिनिस्टर रहा, मैं साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी मिनिस्टर रहा, सब कुछ रहा। और कंफर्टेबली पार्टी का आदेश हुआ, मैंने इस्तीफा दिया और मैं पार्टी का जनरल सेक्रेटरी बनकर के दिल्ली चला गया। इसलिए ये मेरा तरीका ही नहीं है सोचने का। और आज जहां पर मैं हूं, मैं ये समझता हूं कि पार्टी ने मुझे बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेवारी दी है, एंड इट इज ए हिस्टोरिकल ओकेजन फॉर मी। इट्स एन ओकेजन व्हेन पार्टी इज एट सच हाई पीक, एंड दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी पार्टी हो और उसका मुझे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष बनने का मौका मिला हो। आप समझिए ना कि कितनी बड़ी जिम्मेवारी मुझे मिली है। और यहां जयराम अगर जिम्मेवारी संभालते हैं तो मैं समझता हूं कि हम ही हैं, मैं ही हूं। हम सब लोग इसमें बाहर अपने आप को नहीं समझते।
हिमाचल के पंचायत के चुनाव से हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे। और हिमाचल प्रदेश में जो राज्य का चुनाव है, ऐसी जो खबर आ रही है, तस्वीर उभर रही है, वो ये कि काफी टाइट और काफी एक्साइटिंग और क्लोज इलेक्शन है। दिल्ली में बैठे बैठे लग रहा था कि काफी आसान बीजेपी की जीत होगी, जमीन पर उतरने के बाद लग रहा है कि नहीं, हाँ तो अच्छा मैच चल रहा है।
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो राहुल जी, आप हमारे प्रदेश में आए और हमारे उस शहर में, शिमला, जहां से मैंने पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन लॉ भी की, तो आपका स्वागत है, आपका अभिनंदन है। और मुझे भी पुराने दिन याद आ गए जब अपने पुराने मित्रों से मिलने का मौका मिला। जब आपने ये कहा कि पोजीशन टाइट दिखती है, ऐसा है कि यहाँ की कंस्टिट्यूएंसीज जो हैं वो छोटी कंस्टिट्यूएंसीज हैं। छोटी कंस्टिट्यूएंसी होने के नाते मार्जिन कहा जाए तो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं हो पाता है, लोग कोशिश करते हैं। लेकिन यहाँ का इलेक्शन मुझे बहुत स्पष्ट दिख रहा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रति वातावरण है, लोगों के मन में इच्छा है, और लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी को फिर से रिपीट करना चाहते हैं। वो यहाँ पर एक तरीके से अगर कहा जाए तो ये जो रिवाज है इसको बदलना चाहते हैं। और माइक्रो मैनेजमेंट जरूर यहाँ के इलेक्शंस का एक एसेंशियल पार्ट है। आप 3-4 दिन बाद देखेंगे, आप अपने आप बोलेंगे कि जो फिजा आपको दिल्ली दिख रही थी वही फिजा यहाँ है। आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट इट।
एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज आपके लिए इस चुनाव में यह है कि कम से कम 14 तो बागी हैं। साधारण तौर पे बीजेपी बात करके, समझा के, जिस भी तरह का टैक्टिक यूज करके अपने बागियों को बैठा देती है। इस बार अब तक तो ऐसा नहीं हुआ, और ये आपके लिए एक खतरा भी है और बाकी स्टेट से काफी अलग भी।
देखिए, सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि जो खड़े हुए हैं उनकी अपेक्षा हुई, उनकी आकांक्षाएं भी रही होंगी, लेकिन मेरा ये स्पष्ट मानना है कि जैसे जैसे चुनाव आगे बढ़ेगा वैसे वैसे तस्वीर बिल्कुल क्लियर होगी, और वो लोग भी, इनमें से भी बहुत लोग बैठने वाले होंगे, समर्थन देने वाले होंगे, वो करेंगे। ये प्रोसेसेस होते हैं। हिमाचल कुछ अपने तरीके से ही चलने वाला प्रदेश है और अपने तरीके से ही यहाँ की पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविटी होती है। लोग खड़े हो जाते हैं, मनाने का प्रयास भी होता है, मान भी जाते हैं, कुछ छूट जाते हैं, लेकिन हमारी पार्टी में सिंबल के साथ लोग चलते हैं और जनता भी उसको समर्थन देती है। इसलिए मैं बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट हूं कि इन सब के बावजूद भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कैंडिडेट्स स्पष्ट रूप से आगे आएंगे और कंफर्टेबली सरकार बनाएंगे।
What I want to do is a margin-wise breakup of the 68 seats of Himachal Pradesh. If I look at the seats that were won with a margin of less than 5,000 votes, there are 34 out of 68 seats. So about half the seats which were won by just about 5,000 votes. It could have gone either way. BJP won 17 of those, Congress won 15. Now that's one of the other big factors, Sanjay Kumar, that you've got a small state with relatively low population density, fewer voters per seat, and therefore margins in a battle like this become very crucial.
No, absolutely, Rahul. You cited the data for 2017. But if you look at the data for 2012 assembly elections or 2007 assembly election or even elections before that, you will find that half of the constituency, the victory and defeat is decided by a very small margin. So I think if we look at the election, how elections are unfolding in Himachal Pradesh, I think it is going to be a three-way contest. It's not a bipolar contest. It is Congress on one side, BJP on the other side, and remember, we should not forget the rebels. BJP has 20 rebels. So if the constituencies are decided with a very small margin, if these rebels are able to cut into the vote share of their own parent party, that can damage the prospects of the
Can I just narrate a story to our viewers?
So
when I was sitting in Shimla with a senior politician from the state, Sanjay ji, he said that there are 5 parties in the fray in Himachal Pradesh in every election. So he was, just sitting, soaking in the sun and saying there are 5 parties. I'm wondering, what's this guy talking about? How are there 5 parties in Himachal Pradesh? At the most, there is the Aam Aadmi Party apart from BJP and the Congress. He said that, no, how it works is, you've got the real BJP candidate. Because it's so small and there are so many contestants, there'll be a rebel kind of Nakli BJP candidate who's actually a BJP candidate but fighting as a rebel or as an independent. Then there'll be a real Congress candidate, and then there'll be a rebel Congress candidate, and then the 5th party is whoever's the independent or the AAP candidate in the fray. So it's actually, Yashwant Deshmukh, 5 parties in the fray, and ordinarily, in the way the modern day BJP has operated, they've been able to get rebels to stand out. डंडे के जोर पे बात करके फुसला के either through emotion or through coercion, they've been able to get candidates to stand down. That somehow hasn't happened in Himachal Pradesh, which is quite surprising and also could potentially be a problem. At least 14 odd seats have rebel candidates. Yashwant?
Yeah, Rahul, I thought you were asking this question to someone else. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Sanjay Bhai here that, the rebel candidature thing is something which should be troubling for the BJP and as far as Congress as well, both of them. But it seems that more BJP rebels are there than the Congress at this point of time. And even with the 1 or 2% votes polled by them, it's going to, play a havoc in the seats where they have got a very marginal lead last time or even in this time. So we need to keep a close eye on that. Having said that, Rahul, yes, BJP has been going overboard in order to placate the rebels. I don't know how much Congress has been doing. There is a sentiment for the change, no doubt about that, Rahul. This is an election. If the Congress doesn't win this election, it's for themselves to blame. There is a people of the Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand or any other state. They have been very clear in their opinion if they do not rate the local government or the CM very highly in that sense. But yes, they do rate Prime Minister in very high regards and very highly. And if there is a double engine, I have said on more than one occasion that it's the one engine of the Prime Minister which is pulling it forward. But the Chief Minister's engine in case of the BJP has been always on the guard
Now this I don't understand, Shazia. In the BJP president's own home district of Bilaspur across the state, the BJP typically tends to do a better job of dealing with its rebels. They say, परिवार की बात है, आगे देख लेंगे, कुछ और कर देंगे, and somehow or the other they get the rebels to stand down. This time you haven't been able to do that. There was that one clip of the Prime Minister speaking to one of the rebel candidates from one of the seats in Bilaspur, telling him to stand down, and he says, 2 दिन पहले फोन किया होता तो कुछ होता, and he's still in the fray despite a call from the Prime Minister nonetheless.
The more likely a party is to win in a state, the more the higher the number of rebels would be. That's how it is, because this becomes the most go-for ticket, which is the BJP candidature. And we've always had the rebels, have always been many more takers for this ticket than any other party. So if there are the rebels, I'm sure people know better as to who to vote for. So they also know what their prospects would be if they were to try and have voting, done for the other candidate or for themselves. And as such, to harm the BJP candidate, at the end of the day, is the people who matter. And where people are concerned, I think 20,000 kilometers of roads and all the infrastructure projects, the new tunnel that is being made, whether it's a 16 lakh water connections, or is the him care that I just mentioned, which has gone to so many households. I think for the first time you will see that anti-incumbency does not matter at all there, because...
Okay, now that's an important point that Shazia made. Now I want to build on that to essentially say that most of these rebels may not win, okay, but they could just pull away enough on the basis of their individual heft to damage the official candidate. So they're unlikely to win, at least majority of them won't win, but they could, in the seats where they stand, hurt the party's official candidate. So we heard from JP Nadda earlier. I want to show you a cross-section of some of the Congress leaders and what they're saying right ahead of polling in Himachal Pradesh.
क्या मोदी फैक्टर है ही नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं मोदी फैक्टर. उनकी तो ये स्टेट लीडरशिप, यहाँ की लीडरशिप घबरा गई. उन्हें लग रहा है कि अब हमारे नाम पे तो वोट मिलेगा नहीं, तो अब जगह जगह मोदी जी की होर्डिंग लगाने लगे. हिमाचल की जनता एक चीज जान ली, बहुत पढ़ी लिखी जनता. यहाँ की जनता बहुत अवेयर है, बहुत पढ़ी लिखी और जागरूक है. वो किसी का होर्डिंग लगा देने से जो है वो वोट नहीं दे देती, क्योंकि उसको पता है कि वो तो यहाँ मुख्यमंत्री नहीं आके बनेंगे. यहाँ तो उनको वही झेलना पड़ेगा जो अभी तक थे.
अच्छे शासन के लिए अच्छे प्रशासन का होना जरूरी है. जनता ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को शासन करने का राज दिया 5 साल. प्रशासनिक क्षमता नाम की कोई चीज नहीं है. गुड गवर्नमेंट के लिए गुड गवर्नेंस होना जरूरी है. गवर्नेंस नाम की चीज नहीं है. मुख्यमंत्री जी को पता ही नहीं लगता कि क्या हो रहा है. ऐसे मुख्यमंत्री को सत्ता में रहकर जन भावना की आदर न करना, जन सेवा का भावना करना, इस बात का प्रतीक है कि जनता इनसे दुखी हो चुकी है.
जहां तक इस सरकार को बदलने की बात है, उसमें कांग्रेस पार्टी को बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है. हालांकि हम बहुत मजबूती के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, मगर जयराम सरकार का तख्ता पलट तो प्रदेश के कर्मचारी, प्रदेश के बागवान, प्रदेश के किसान, प्रदेश के 14 लाख बेरोजगार युवा कर देंगे. और ये सरकार हिमाचल प्रदेश में जितने भी मुख्यमंत्री रहे हैं, किसी को पानी वाला मुख्यमंत्री कहा जाता है, किसी को सड़क वाला मुख्यमंत्री कहा जाता है, किसी को आधुनिक हिमाचल प्रदेश का मुख्यमंत्री कहा जाता है, किसी को हिमाचल प्रदेश का निर्माता कहा जाता है. और ये महाशय है जिनको इतिहास में पलटू राम सरकार के नाम से जाना जाएगा. अ गवर्नमेंट जो सुबह निर्णय लेके शाम को वो निर्णय से पलट जाती है.
हिमाचल प्रदेश में कांग्रेस की सरकार बढ़ रही है 2/3 बहुमत से, और मुख्यमंत्री कांग्रेस का होगा. मुख्यमंत्री
अगर आप जीतेंगे तो
मुख्यमंत्री होगा. सवाल ये नहीं है. हमें जिम्मा दिया था इनसे लड़ने का.
ये मुंगेरी लाल के हसीन
सपने नहीं है
जो कभी पूरे नहीं होने वाले हैं.
अब उनकी बारी है. आपका समय समाप्त है. आप जो है, ये जनता है, जब देने पे आती है तो ढेरों देती है, जब उधेड़ने पे आती है तो चमड़ी भी उधेड़ लेती है. आपकी बारी आ गई है, आपका समय आ गया है.
I want to show you the list of strongholds for the different parties. I'll start with the BJP's strongholds, seats which have been held by the BJP in every election in the last 3 elections in the state of Himachal Pradesh. So if you look at the BJP strongholds coming up on your screen first, there are 18 such seats, most of them in the Kangra belt. Now the question is, can the Congress snatch some of those away? I'll show you the Congress's strongholds largely in the Shimla area, but spread a little bit, but mostly in the Shimla belt, where they've got 12 such strongholds. Yashwant Deshmukh, just ahead of the big day of polling over the weekend, what would you be looking out for? If you were Harsha Bhogle doing commentary in the last stretch of this big match between BJP and Congress, what are your X factors? What could change in the last 48 hours?
Turnout. Turnout is going to be critical, Rahul, and that is a very, very important thing to note.
Who does high turnout help? Who does low turnout help? How do you see it in HP?
Well, earlier it used to be said that a really high turnout turns out to be an anti-incumbent verdict, which has been in the last 10 years not really the case. So, if no matter what, the high turnout, has to be maintained by the BJP if they want to win the election. If it is a low turnout, I believe that might be a problem for the BJP. That's the other way around I see it. That means people are not very excited to go out and vote, and that should not be very exciting.
Sanjay Kumar, final words from you. What would you be looking out for in the last 48 hours?
Absolutely, Rahul. Turnout. While there is no
वो उसने बोल दिया, आप कुछ और बताओ.
correlation with higher turnout is a sign of anti-incumbent.
Both commentators can't give the same theory.
नहीं, I think अब तो सोचना पड़ेगा. जो रियल चीज था वो तो मैं कहना चाह रहा था. I think the last.
No, so can I just say to what you're saying, to build on the point that Sanjay Kumar is making, that it's not just voters' propensity to come out on their own, but also the ability of a party, Sanjay Kumar, to get their voters out of their homes in a hill state with limited transportation facilities to the polling booth. And there the BJP has much more boots on the ground than the Congress to be able to do that, to take their voters. Some of them may be unhappy, थोड़ा सा धक्का लगा कि जाओ वोट डाल के आओ.
No, absolutely, Rahul. A higher turnout, one needs to watch the turnout, but beyond the turnout, one also needs to watch which party is working hard on the day of voting, because it is important for both the political parties to pull out their voters from their house, because only the turnout is not sufficient. The party needs to pull out their own voters to vote. That's going to be crucial on the last day of voting, Rahul.
Okay, but remember, unlike many other states where the Congress's party machinery is now largely dysfunctional, Himachal Pradesh is one state where they still have a functional party machinery and they're not as badly off as they are elsewhere. So that gives the Congress some strength. But basically, can the Congress cross the finishing line or will they come up short? That is the big question in Himachal Pradesh as we wait for polling day. I'm out of time. It's a fascinating election. It seemed initially that the BJP was romping home in style. That's no longer the case. They're huffing and puffing. Now it's about who can huff and puff and cross the finishing line. It makes things exciting, much more exciting for the likes of Sanjay Kumar, Yashwant Deshmukh, Bipin Pabi and me. Aishwarya Mahadev and Shazia, we can wish you and your parties all the very best. This is, in some senses, like a bit of a T20. Now the last few overs, which will decide who ultimately hits the winning six.